Hello and welcome to week 6. Here we are, week 6. So I have a few announcements and then I'll just briefly go over the agenda. So I have some announcements. First of all, there is no online role play. And so I noticed that on the syllabus there was one mention of online role play. And don't worry about that. We're not doing online role play in this class. So just ignore that. So also next up, I have finished reading and assessing all of your discuss posts from week 4, which is when you chose a text and analyzed it using the dimensions of text complexity. And that is very much what you're going to have to do for blog post 3. And so I read through those carefully and gave everybody feedback. Every person got feedback on that, on what was working and what was not working. And so do make sure to go back to your discuss post for week 4 and look at that feedback and gear your future analyses, analysis of text complexity based on that. So I will also be entering soon into the grade book whether you've got a check plus, check, or check minus on that. And basically, if you got a check plus, that means you did a very nice job, only minor changes, so keep up the good work. If you got a check, it means you're definitely heading in the right direction. I can tell you did the readings and had a solid understanding. There might be, I have some suggestions for you to improve it if you want to shoot for getting full credit on blog post 3. And then if you got a check minus, and there were a handful of those, it was because you were missing various parts of the text complexity. You weren't addressing maybe you didn't address all the elements of text complexity, or you had a lot of things mixed up, or there's just needing much more explanation and perhaps even examples of what you were trying to say and analyze the text. So keeping in mind, text complexity is not just analyzing the text. So it's not like when you analyze a text for literary elements or artistic elements. It's very much about analyzing a text with instructional design in mind, analyzing it for thinking about how are you going to support this text with your students, how are you going to match it with students, etc. So it's a little bit different. All right. Also, some announcements about the inquiry blog. I finished grading blog posts 1 and 2, and I'll be putting those grades up soon. I'm just shifting the grade book right now online to include both a graduate component and an undergraduate component. And once that gets finished, I'll be entering all the grades. And pretty much everybody did really well on blog posts 1 and 2. They were just kind of getting us started. And then for blog posts 3 and 4, I do want to just remind you that those are much more substantial blog posts. They're really very much assignments that you're publishing online, and obviously they're worth more points. Each is worth 20 points rather than 2.5 points, which was 1 and 2. And so I just wanted to point out to you, and I have down here, linked here under resources for the blog post, the evaluation rubric. If you click right here, you can see the evaluation rubric that is used to evaluate and grade your blog posts 3 and 4. It's very similar to what's on the assignment sheet, except it's structured a little bit differently to fit the D2L grade formatting structure. And so here's a little peek of it. It's right there on that link if you want to, but I just wanted to show these are the same criteria. They're just organized a little bit differently. So in terms of content, make sure you address all of the things that you need to include. So make sure you understand the prompt, what's being asked of you. For blog post 3, make sure you read through that assignment sheet. In terms of content, make sure you explain those ideas too, that you demonstrate your understanding of the concepts of the different text complexity elements and the different things that it's asking there. And then for multimodal composition, make sure you're including an image and live link in every blog post. And because blog posts 3 and 4 are more significant, longer blog posts, feel free to include more than one image if you want. Use those images to help amplify and deepen what you are saying. And then the presentation, professionalism of writing, please take time to do some proofreading. Make sure that you don't have a lot of spelling errors. Also, to help with online viewing, if you can break for paragraphs on the blog page. Sometimes it looks like we have breaks between our paragraphs, but then when we publish it, it doesn't. So if you can go back in and make sure that you have those breaks, that makes it much easier for reading of your ideas. And then for peer learning, this is just making sure that you go and read and review and respond to those in your inquiry blog group. This is a very significant part of your blog posting. So if you see this is 4. This is 4 points out of 20. So this is 20% of the whole grade. So that's just a quick review of this rubric. So do take some time to come back, click on that, and look at that so that you know how you're being evaluated for blog posts 3 and 4. All right. That's all I have for announcements. As for the agenda, our agenda is pretty similar to most weeks. We have our Explore activities. This week you have 2 readings. One is a Latimer chapter 3, and then the second reading you get to choose between two chapters, so you can look over both of them on D2L and decide which one you want to read. Both of them deal with writing to learn activities, so you can choose between either chapter 3 or chapter 4, and those both of those are up on the D2L. Here's a little video here if you'd like to get a video short introduction to what is writing to learn. There is no mini lecture for this week, so there won't be anything posted on that. Really, the idea is just to keep setting you up for giving you time to select your text and analyze those texts, but also getting you to think of the next steps too. Once you select your text, then how do you scaffold for comprehension and support students? And that's our next step after blog post 3. So our readings for this week are kind of helping to think about that as well. And you have your discuss activity that's related to those scaffolding activities. And then you also have a focus and reflect activity, which is using Flipgrid. And it's giving an update or a status check-in related to where you're at with the blog post number 3. And so it's much more of a conversational sharing of where you're at, what you've gathered so far, what your next steps are. If you haven't done that much work on it yet, hopefully you can get some good ideas and you can help focus your ideas and your plan for going forward. But those are our activities for this week. If you have any specific questions, feel free to email me. Have a good week.